My name is Ernest Banks, Banks, class of 1982.
My name is Kim Peterson. When I was in school, it was Kim Kotrick. I graduated in 1988. I was here from 1985 through 1988.
I'm Kathleen Rogers, better known back in high school as Kathleen Hansen. Graduated in 1989.
My name is Edward King.
Juanita King.
I graduated in the class of 1983.
1985.
Tremendously changed. I mean, I'm actually lost in here. I mean, I've taken a tour a couple of times, but I don't remember coming back upstairs with this being the old gym. And I mean, it's totally different. I mean, you need a scout or a tour guide to come in here anymore.
Well, we're sitting in what was a gym when I was here, and there's a lot more hallways, it seems. I can't remember if there was a third floor. Yeah, there was a third floor. It's just it seems so much bigger, and obviously the track was where the parking lot was, and there's a more concentrated football area out back now, which we didn't have. And then I know of somewhere there's an outdoor botanical type garden thing or something.
Oh, the school has drastically changed. This library that we're sitting in now used to be our second gym. The library originally used to be downstairs in the basement next to the cafeteria. So it's drastically changed. When I was here, you didn't have the outdoor, the other area over there, the other building where the gym and the track and all that is. That was never here. That didn't start till a few years after I graduated.
We barely recognize the place. It's updated. It looks a whole lot better. I wish they would have had, when I was going, all the things that they have now.
Modern. It's modernized.
Of course. Yes. We keep in contact quite a bit. I have a Camaro club now, and some of us went to school up here.
I actually help plan our reunions. We don't get a lot of people, but I am friends with a lot of people that I did go to school with, whether they were in my class or a few years in front or behind me.
Oh yeah. All over Facebook, we meet up, at different gatherings at certain times of the year for holidays or, just get-togethers.
Most, yes. Quite a few.
A lot.
Yeah, my son actually graduated 2015.
My sister went and graduated about 3 years after me, but after that, no.
Yeah, I had a brother and a sister here after I graduated. Actually, a brother and two sisters.
We have generations of family members that have gone to North over the years, North High School over the years.
No. After high school, I was working during the whole time, and then I left, joined the Armory. Had 6-year tour, but I only stayed in for 3 years. And then I've been at the post office for the last 36 years.
No, definitely not. I went to college, it wasn't for me. And then I decided to go, at the time they had travel school, I did that, and unfortunately, COVID took my job from me at that time. So I've had to move into a different role, which I'm still looking, although I'm a little older than I want to be to look for a new job, but no, I'm definitely not doing what I wanted to do.
Actually, no. Back when I was growing up, my occupation, I always wanted to be a teacher. But now I'm a medical claims processor for the VA.
Not at all. At our 20-year class reunion, I got voted the least unlikeliest occupation. So,
Tell them what your occupation is.
As a pastor. So.
And I've always loved working with kids. And I own my own daycare. So I hang out with little people.
Through getting through a lot of trouble, I just always had
Not me.
Being raised without a father, always had a passion for young men that didn't have fathers. And so I think that was the beginning point of understanding the hurt and the need that came along with that. And yeah, just always, been around young men that didn't have fathers and tried to help and coach and walk them through that pain and cultivate their relationships with the Lord and that kind of thing.
Ran track from 80, 81 to 82. Made it to state every year. 100, 200, 4x100 relay. Had one of the fastest relay teams in the state. I think we got second in state my senior year. So, and it was a good deal.
Let's see here. I was a member of the senior class boards, I think they call them now. I don't remember what we called them. And I was a cheerleader.
I was involved in DECA, which I don't think you guys have that anymore here, or it's completely changed from what it used to be.
Yeah, I think it's changed.
I was in DECA and I took German back then. Originally born in Germany, so that's why I chose that language. And that was pretty much about it, other than I would help in the library.
Besides girls.
Besides girls, did y'all get
Track, I was on the track team all the years that I was here and enjoyed myself.
I was just about my grades.
We were known for track, basketball, and football. Wrestling was good too, but basketball and track were like the number two things that went on when I was up here.
Oh, boy. I don't know that a lot of wrestling. We did fairly well in wrestling at that time, which apparently you've got some great wrestlers here now, too, which, in fact, they're related to people that I know and went to school with. So it's kind of full circle.
Football. Still is. Still watch it.
Back then, for us, it was losing in football, but they turned that around. But our track team and our basketball team was known for being pretty good.
My track coach, Mr. Woods, Gilbert Woods, he was one of my favorite teachers, and my art teacher, Miss Katz, I think at the time, that was my favorite teacher as well.
So I loved my French teacher because she was just goofy. I did the football coach, he taught gym and stuff, Mr. Colvin, and I had a math teacher named Miss Nelson, liked her a lot. Mr. Harvey was amazing, and of course Mr. Haynes was here when I was here as well.
Oh my. I would have to say my DECA teacher back then. I can't remember her name though. I mean, we're talking 33 years ago, so I can't remember her name.
Mine was Mr. Waymer. He was a teacher, track coach. And Mr. Woods, Gilbert Woods, was our track coach and math teacher. But yeah, and I love how they personally connect with the kids back in the day.
Mine was Miss Faulkner, home ec. I loved it.
Fashion was our thing back in the day. We had the Jerry curls, we had the afros, we dressed back in the day. We were tennis shoe guys back then.
Man, I killed my fashion back in the day. Wore leg warmers and mini skirts and stuff. All the 80s stuff. And this flat hair, it was up in the air then, so.
It's weird how when you were in school, certain clothes that you thought were cool, how it went out of style. All these years later, 40 years later, you see it coming back again now, which is.
They think it's new.
Yeah, they think it's like we were wearing that stuff 40 years ago.
Yes, same.
It's really different. Seeing some of it come back. I mean, some of it, came back, a few years ago, from back when my mom was in school. The wide leg jeans, or as they called them back then, bell bottoms. So those really come out, and I hated them growing up, just hated them. But I wear them now. I mean, not all the time, but I do have some. Back then, if it wasn't tight on the ankle, we would cuff it and roll it so it was tight. So that's kind of started back in my day. So, I mean, it's pretty weird how it all kind of rotates and just comes back around.
Just like the previous person, the original movies were better. The graphics are better now because everything is so high tech. So I will admit that the animation and the realization of how they make things are better now, though.
So that's funny. Movies or TV shows, they remake, and if I can sing along with the song or something that they've redone, when my daughter was younger, she didn't understand how I knew the song. And it's like, because this was from my time. So it's just funny, but I don't think the remakes have anything on the originals.
Not big a fan of it, no. A lot of the remakes and that aren't as good as the original movies. So when you do a remake, it kind of takes away from the whole. To me and to a few others in my age group, it takes away from the whole aspect of what the movie was about, with the upgrade to the video and things like that.
I don't think there's any original really. I think the generation today think it's something that they did, but it's like reinvented. I think we had the best back in the 80s, 90s. To me.
Every generation say that.
I think so.
Right.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. That's what I grew up on. There's always the debate, who's the best. To me, my era was the best.
Dr. J in '83, Dr. J had just won the championship in basketball. Michael Jordan was just coming to the league, and we never knew that he would take off with the shoes, Nike shoes and everything, to turn into what he turned into.
Mine is Kobe. I love Kobe.
Kobe wasn't playing when you was in school, though.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was? Oh,
yes.
Kobe wasn't even born when we were in high school.
You're old. Don't talk. I'm not like that old.
We had I still have it to this day, Sega. I still have all my game systems. NBA Live was an NBA Jam. Still is the best thing that's going right now. The newer stuff, once again, the graphics are better. But NFL Blitz, loved it too, so yeah. Music is something that I do now, so I collect music. Always collect music. I used to DJ. I have over 10,000 vinyl albums, over 10,000 CDs. I did it all back then, so the new stuff now I don't like because it's all auto-tuned. I mean, there's not the skill like it used to be, but everything is just auto-tuned. Anybody can be a singer or a rapper now, so.
So I definitely still listen to my 80s music. That's first. I got my kids to listen to that. But I mean, I listen to any music, a variety of music. I listen to what my kids listen to, so it's definitely changed, but I do go back and listen to some of my stuff from back in my day.
I think it's one of the best things that could have happened in North Eye. There was always a lot of smart kids, and from what I found out when I came back from the service was that it was one of the top schools in the state at one time. I don't know if it still is, but the things that they did to the school that advanced the computers and everything back then, I heard it was like top of the line. So I think it's still going on. I'm not sure, but yeah, it was top of the line. The fact that I graduated from here, I was very proud of that.
Oh, I wish it was that way when we were in school. I think the school grew and took off after that, but we didn't have the privilege of being a part of that because it happened for us after it turned into a magnet school after we left.
You guys have no reason to fail with the internet, the technology. Everything is at the tip of your fingers. There's no reason why any of you guys should either not go to college or have the opportunity to go to college. I didn't take advantage of a lot of my counselors, and I think now that you guys should.
Stay in school. I mean, all I can say is if you if you dream it, you can do it, obviously. I think now you have more opportunity than when I was in school, and your options are better to do things than when there's more opportunity.
For teachers and students? Or just what?
I mean, just students.
Well, for the students, I would say, stay in school, don't get into trouble, do your work. It does pay off in the end. And just keep a positive attitude about life in general. You're not going to use everything you learn in school in real life, but you never know when it's going to come up. So making sure you stay with your courses and keep your grades up and pay attention, and even maybe progress after high school and go on to college.
Be the best that you can be, and whatever you do it to the fullest in the Lord, and look back and help your community. Always, if you're a positive person doing positive things, reach back and bring someone else along and help them out too. My encouragement.
I would say put God first, and everything else falls into line. And that's why we're still, from these days, walking through the hall, call ourselves boyfriend and girlfriends. Almost 40 years, still in the game this long.
What game are we in? What game is that?
There you go, thinking he's a comedian.
No.
Yeah.
V's up.
Yeah, it's still Vikings.
That means Vikings.
Yeah, you're so old.
Yeah, but if I was doing this, that means other stuff.
It's just weird, and I run into him, and he still calls me Sister Kotrick all the time, so he'll never forget you.
I can tell you straight from the music. When in the class of '83, it was Houdini and Run DMC. They never talked about killing people, but you fast forward to all the violence that's in the music now. And I'm not saying all music is bad, but the violence that's in the music now has shaped the mind of a lot of this generation. And so, yeah, I mean, the music has changed. Of course, television has changed. Where you see things on TV now that you never saw
in commercials.
In commercials too, 40 years ago.
Didn't. I mean, we all came to school. Everybody, it didn't matter culture-wise back then. You had your own little groups, of who hung out with who, but for the most part, everybody talked to everybody. There was no culture back then that we had to worry about.
Yeah, growing up in North Omaha, I've always had a passion for kids, working with kids, and when we were going to high school, we didn't have the gun and gang violence then. Well, fast forward over time, things change, the community changed, and we always had a passion of seeing that whole community like we had when we were growing up. So it drove the passion to work with kids, and so the Hope Center was a place that we had the privilege of being able to serve and work at and interact with the lives of kids there.
Tell me how long you've been working with kids.
I've been working with kids ever since I got out of high school, ever since I left North High School.
They don't know how long that is.
38 years, for almost, 38 years.
It's been over 20
Yeah.
for me with little people. He hang out with the big people. I like the little ones.
And just tell me more about your ministry, Day Springs Ministry,
Yeah,
how that came about.
always had a passion, like I said, working with kids, and so being here in North Omaha, we always wanted to provide a place where families can go to learn about the Lord. Very excited about, we believe that being transformed from the inside out will make all the difference in the world, and that starts and stops with a relationship with Jesus.
And our church is on Ames.
Churches,
We're
not
on
far from
Ames
here,
at
right up,
North, and we're not that far
right
from
above
on 60th.
60th and Ames.